What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're going to cover some Shocker PvP. We made an All Hail the King video with him, but we really didn't cover him with any of his Sinister Six members, so we're going to rectify that in this video. We'll start with my favorite of the six. Well, we don't have all six yet, but you know what I mean. That's going to be Electro. The main synergy is going to come from their passives, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, as you'll see, the enemy agent's preventing debuffs. If this happens and you're using someone like Shocker who has internal bleeding, well, feel free to use that ability. Right away, despite warding essence, you're going to see some bleed damage. Also, we got extra from hemorrhaging, and that's because of the hemorrhaging AISO. You see, internal bleeding is a debuff that says cannot be removed, and apparently that means cannot be prevented either. So just a nice little trick if anyone's preventing your debuffs and you're using someone like Shocker. Now my agent obviously has another way of dealing with that, and it's going to be Blackest Void, so we'll remove warding essence. Then with his particular team, if Electro goes first, he also has a way of dealing with it. We place the ailing AISO on his level 2. So if you use Surge, you're going to place Endemic on the entire enemy team. Endemic once again suppresses most effects that prevent or remove debuffs. Now outside the Sinister Six passives, we did try one other thing, and that was on Shocker. We placed one of the new AISO, the Actuating Augmented ISO 8, on his level 1. That gives that ability charged attack, so it triggers static charge when used. Not a huge thing, but we figured why not. It could come in handy. By the way, it's kind of funny that we do have Endemic because you can see the Scroll of Rudamaroth in the enemy agent's hand. So we got to hit them first. And since they do have that scroll and it's just a good practice to take down the enemy agent, it may be boring, but our best bet is to go back to high frequency. We'll get the initial damage, hemorrhaging once again, and if they live, which they probably will, they'll bleed out next turn. So back to the old well. And on their turn, they do bleed out. So on our agent's turn, we're going to use the Singularity Matrix once again. Our new all-time use free action. We don't have too many options there. And on this use, you can pause the video and see flawless execution. Pretty awesome. As a bit of a spoiler, but it shouldn't come as any surprise, that gadget is going to be in the next Poor Man's PvP. So there's one of the items on the loadout. You can get a head jump on it by going to Season 2, Chapter 10, Mission 2. That's where you'll find it in Challenge Mode. The Challenge Mode version is a free action, so that's the one you want. We currently have another item from that build on us at the moment, and you can guess what that is in the comment section below. Let's see who's been paying attention. It's a pretty easy question. Now, one thing I will say about this team is they're definitely capable of winning. But as far as Shocker, his level 9 kinda requires too much work. I mean, not that I mind Paragon Exploiter, and there's plenty of ways to get that. It just still seems not even worth it half the time. Not that it isn't cool though, it definitely is. You have to love the Shocker mobile. I just wish it was more of a finisher. As you can see, we're not going to do nearly enough damage. So once again, we're going back to high frequency. The cool thing is, Kurth is susceptible to bleeding, so internal bleeding, you can't beat that. And with the immediate hemorrhage, she's almost going to bleed out right here. Then for absolutely no reason, we're going to use the Singularity Matrix once again. Then we'll just finish it off with our only attack. There it is, 8k, that's actually a pretty big hit. Now since that enemy team wasn't a huge challenge, we decided to use Electro once again. This match we're facing, the Worthy, of course. Nothing new here. And I believe, once again they have warding essence. So we're back to high frequency. I'm sorry about the repetition, but I have to play smart. And this does the most damage, by far. I mean, just look at that hit with calculated force and the immediate hemorrhage, plus the bleeding to come. That's some really solid damage. Well, I did realize there is one thing that's going to be different. Electro is going before my agent, so we're going to use Surge, and that should cause Endemic to the entire enemy team. Basically, we can put our debuffs on them, we don't have to remove their warding essence. After that, we're probably going with Lightning Rod, just to get the enemy team set up. Now I know we didn't go over the Sinister Six passive just yet, so now's a pretty good time for that. But wait, why did Kurth just look like the Flash? Kinda looked like she pulled some Barry Allen move. And the Agent also did it. There must just be some glitch in the Matrix. And honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it, but there is a Singularity Matrix right now. Anyways, back to the Sinister Six moves. While Kurth is blinking, Electro's passive says, members gain high voltage. This grants a chance for an extra turn. Now I rarely see an extra turn, but the very first match with these two, we were facing an 18k HP team. And I do believe Shocker got an extra turn. That's the only match we cut out though, and the only time I think it happened. At least so far. Now Shocker on the other hand grants making waves. This says gains morale boost when allies use a sonic or ground attack. Now this is kind of odd because it actually shows up as a 5% boost and it stacks 5 times. But essentially Electro, who's already a powerhouse, is going to do even more damage with his attacks, and we'll gladly take that. So here he is, hopefully knocking out Null, and with that we'll end his Meteor Swarm. Plus we get collateral damage to proc. And with a 3-on-2 advantage, we should be able to take them down. Now on our agent's turn, we're going to use Singularity Matrix once again. And apparently they actually have that preemptive buff counter. It preemptively counters buffs and debuffs from the current spec op. I definitely wasn't expecting that. Following that though, we're going to use the Ionic D, and that's going to take out the enemy agent. So it's the enemy Kurth versus all. And well, she is pretty tough, but I don't think she's going to beat us single-handedly. At least I hope not. So let's go ahead and get a Shocker Mobile in here, and it doesn't do much damage at all. So this whole time I've been thinking about using the Neuropurge, and in the next team up, we will bring that on. It still most likely won't do that much damage, but it will help out. Unfortunately though, Shocker is knocked out, but we do get the win. So for the last team, we are going to go with Kraven, and I do prefer him over Lizard, at least for now. As much as I love the Lizard and I think he looks incredible and has some pretty cool debuffs and abilities, the current meta just isn't that kind to him. Still though, we're going to look at more Sinister Six members and team-ups in the future. I'm pretty sure of that. We should have some more members coming, hopefully soon. And if you really want to see Lizard and Shocker, then let me know in the comment section below and I'll see what I can do. Now against this particular enemy team, I'm pretty worried about them taking out Shocker before he even gets a chance. But him making it past that opening wave is a pretty big deal. Now our next hurdle is the fact that they are preventing debuffs, so we can't use the Neuropurge just yet. That means Shocker's going to have to live for another round. But in this round we use Singularity Matrix, then the Blackest Void to remove the Mystic Shroud. Next, the enemy agent's going to use the Spirit Blade. Something I keep meaning to pull out myself. I actually need to write that down. But on Shocker's turn, we're either going to go with High Frequency, or well, the Shocker Smash will help out their level 9. And we might as well try to put some AoE debuffs on the enemy team. So here goes a different move, and it does have some pretty cool debuffs on it. That includes collapsing infrastructure. But right after we hit the enemy team, Star-Lord gives them all an extra turn. So that couldn't have went any worse for us. Shocker's chances for survival dramatically went down. But the enemy agent hitting his own Spitfire definitely helps out. Still, with her extra turn, she's right back on Shocker. And that means 2 more Fiery Fists. Then Star-Lord thankfully doesn't hit him. The game was even loading and made us hold our breath for an extra second. Talk about a dramatic pause. So, on Kraven's turn, we're going to use a trap, and we place the Manifesting AISO on it, so it gives us Epiphany. Then with Calculated Force, he is an absolute monster. We also added Radiation Exposure to his level 2, that's with the Gamma Blade AISO. And we put Mauling on his level 1, so it applies Flanked. All in all, this guy's dishing out a lot of damage. And with his next hits, we're hoping to take down Spitfire. By the way, there's Seismic Activity, and that's the buff you get from making waves. Then he's also going to cause single target attacks for Sinister Six members to apply Targeted. And yeah, Sinister Six starts running together after a while, so we need to come up with a shorter name for them. Anyways, like I said, we're going after Spitfire, and if we can take her out, then Shocker should be fine. This is actually going to be kind of odd. We go after their agent, but Spitfire is going to protect, and so we do get our hit on her. Plus our follow-up attack. After her dot damage, she barely has any HP, but enough to go right after Shocker. Fortunately, Shell Shock's going to finish her off, and Shocker gets to hang on. So with my agent, we're going to use Smothering Shadow, then our free action Singularity Matrix, and also the Neuro Purge. Now we could heal, and that would be a pretty decent idea, but forget it. We're not even going to use the Singularity Matrix. The agent's going to go down to dots. So all we have left to hope for is a big Shocker Mobile finish, and we're not going to get that anytime soon. A nearly 7k hit's about all we can hope for, and with dots, Star-Lord goes down soon after, so it's kinda like a finish. I mean, close enough, right? Well, either way, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I want to thank you all for watching. If you can, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Then until next time, good luck, and take care.